Hey everybody. Um, Different scenery here. I'm in my room and I've got a couple updates. So, November 15th, am I right in that? 9:26 p.m. So, I guess what I want to talk about today is my new commitment that I made to quit smoking. Um, I have written up an agreement. I made a contract and I've written up an agreement that I made with myself in order to build self discipline and to turn up my self discipline, turn up um, put it into high gear. I, uh, I found this method in a book. I came across a book on Google Play Store called How to Build Self Discipline. And in the fourth chapter, third or fourth chapter, I think it was the third one, it talks about how writing up a mental contract and having sort of like a mental handshake with yourself is a great way to um, signify that you're going to be making a permanent, drastic change in your life for the better. And this brought me to the idea. I remember I did this also in the past. I made sort of, I had written up a contract with myself and I made an agreement with myself uh, regarding some things. It's not important really. That's what I did in the past, and I thought, why don't I give that another try now? Except I do it with smoking. So that's what I did. That's what I did, and it's very helpful because, as you can see, I'll just show you real quick. That's the contract I wrote up. So as you can see, it's backwards, I guess, for you guys, or is it not? I don't know. I don't think it's backwards. It says basically, it says, I, Marco Bolka, solemnly vow that I will no longer smoke cigarettes, cigars, so on and so forth. I begin this commitment at this time, on this date. I resolve to never touch anything tobacco, nicotine, or smoking related except for smoking cessation aids such as nicotine. So it's kind of like, that's kind of the idea. And then sort of at the bottom, I wrote, this contract is to say that I take care of my health beginning from the above recorded time and date up until my death. So I'm very serious about this. This is a solemn vow. This is not something to be taken lightly, um, for me at least, and that's what I care about. That I'm building character here as well as doing something good for my health. So it's really helping me stay motivated, and I keep this in plain sight in my room so I can see it every day and reread it and read it and read it. And I bought an app on Google Play Store for quitting smoking, and there's a bunch of motivational quotes in there when a craving starts to hit you. Um, there's also, there are like tracking capabilities, like you can track your mood, track what you're doing, right? So I think I tracked maybe like 4 or 5 different cravings, and it asks me, uh, what were you doing when you had this craving? And there's just like little quotes in there, like not another puff, no matter what, right? There's and then you can have like I kind of put in like my own quote in there. That's another option you have there, and it also shows the amount of money you're saving, um, based on how many cigarettes you are not smoking. how many cigarettes you are resisting, right? And the image that I get back from all this is the story of the two wolves inside of each and every man. You know, the wolf that breeds jealousy, anger, fear, hatred, subjugation, all these things, right? And the wolf that engenders love, peace, kindness, joy, firmness, assertiveness, self-discipline, you know. And, you know, in this story, I'm assuming it's like, I think it's like an Aboriginal sort of native Indian story. It comes from, like, those are the roots of it, because they're very much in touch with nature and like spirits and, well, not spirit animals, and like the wolf is like one of the spirit animals or whatever. um, and and you know, in this story, the grandfather, I'm sure you've heard of this, in this story the grandfather says to the grandson, right, he's just passing on some wisdom, and he says to the grandson, there are two wolves inside of each man, one being the evil wolf, the other being the good wolf, as I've described them respectively. And the boy asks, you know, the grandfather says they're both like at war within each man. And then the boy asks the grandfather which wolf wins, and the grandfather says the one you feed. So if I'm feeding my cigarette addiction, right, if I'm hanging around people who are smoking, if I'm allowing peer pressure in my life, then I'm feeding the evil wolf. He's going to win. I'm going to succumb to temptation, right? On the other hand, if I feed the good wolf, and when somebody peer pressures me, I don't allow that peer pressure to get to me, because I say something. I'll say, hey, listen, I don't appreciate that. I'm trying to quit. I understand you may have a different point of view. You maybe think that I shouldn't be quitting in this way, or maybe you think that it's not such a bad thing, but for me it's really important to do that. So I would appreciate it if you support me on this. If you can't support me, just back off and stay away. And you know, you can be polite and respectful about it, but you also got to respect yourself at the same time, right? Because this is also about self-respect. This is also about self-respect. By the way, I've been stuttering this video. I have a stuttering problem. I'm gonna be talking about that in a couple other videos. I have a stuttering problem. I tend to stutter when I'm nervous, when I'm speaking in front of people, when I get excited, when I have a lot of pent-up energy inside of me. So, you know, sorry. It's just the way it is. It's just something you're gonna have to live with, you know. I mean, I'm happy to be who I am, right? So, and I've taken a long time to get to that point. But you know, what can I say? The fasting has been good. I've been drinking the snake juice. I upped my salts, and I feel better. Albeit I have been drinking a little bit more coffee. But other than that, not much else is going on. I'm going to be watching and tuning into Cole's live broadcast on YouTube at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, which will be 8 o'clock, I guess, his time, if I'm right in that. So that's just the main update, you guys, with the whole smoking thing and the whole contract thing. That's what I wanted to mainly update you on. So I would encourage anybody and everybody whoever is struggling with, whether it be food addiction, you know, write up a contract for yourself, make a commitment, make a solemn vow to yourself, promise to yourself. These are all these key words here. Use all these key words in order to strengthen your resolve to never turn back on your bad habits. So I'll be keeping you guys posted on how I'm feeling and how I'm doing. I'm chewing nicotine gum, staying away from cigarettes, and I'll update you guys in the next one. Have a nice night.